Welcome to part 10 of the under 1000 ELO King's Gambit course. We're going to go over a few oddball responses Black can make on move 2. Black plays this chaotic pawn push, trying to destroy our center, much in the same way we were trying to compromise his. I recommend playing a move which is more challenging for Black to respond to, which is e takes d. We are enticing Black's queen out into the center. A move that gives is an advantageous position because we are able to chase the queen around. If Black chooses this route, we can play very simply with a single plan of chasing the queen around until we have completed our development. And now we are able to force the queen into the center again. We will want to block with the bishop so that we can go knight f3 next, chasing the queen away while getting our pieces out. Black usually tries to prevent knight f3 and targets our bishop with bishop to g4. So we go to plan B, chasing the queen away with our d-pawn. We can continue chasing with the added benefit of restricting the knight from developing to c6. Black's queen moves to safety again. And now we are preparing to castle queenside, so we simply need to place our queen and bishop on good squares. I like d3 for the queen, not blocking in our bishop. Black has several options, but the best is to target our pawn. We still have two defenders, so we continue preparing to castle queenside and complete our development. Things get more complicated if Black finds the best move. The best move for Black here is to claim our f-pawn before we have a chance to take him. He figures that the queen will be misplaced on d5 and that he will get around to winning that pawn eventually. The good news is that this line can end up transposing into King Gambit d5 lines we already know. Of course, here we have to play knight f3. This move should be instinctual at this point, taking control of the h4 square so the queen can't get in. This position should look familiar. We have analyzed this position from a different move order. Most often Black takes with the queen, but since we have analyzed those lines extensively, let's look at a different variation we talked about only briefly. Instead of claim the d5 pawn with the queen, which will end up getting chased around, Black wants to take the pawn with the knight. We have a nice way to defend from this, starting with c4. We have already discussed some of Black's options, but let's consider what to do if Black plays b5 like this, hoping to dislodge or c-pawn. The answer is simple. We just need to develop. And if Black takes our c-pawn, we will thank him and get our bishop out. Having planned ahead, we now have two defenders. To Black's two attackers, Black can add an attacker like this, but we still have defenders to add, like with the queen here, which also hits the bishop, forcing a retreat, and Black is very undeveloped. Between the this and the other d5 lines we have looked at, you should be well prepared for these lines. Let's look at another uncommon response. In 3% of King's Gambit games, Black plays the immediate knight to f6, attacking e4 with no hesitation. He also leaves his own pawn unguarded on e5. This line can be a bit confusing if you're not prepared and have knight to f3 pre-moved. This would be a mistake. We do not need to worry about the queen infiltration at the moment, since Black blocked in his queen. The response you need to remember is pawn takes pawn on e5. Black will respond with knight takes e4, opening up the queen's diagonal again. So we now rush to play knight f3. Black can play any number of moves here, but his knight is in a bit of a tricky spot, so Black may challenge our center with d6. The most natural move here is d3, kicking the knight and opening up our dark squared bishop. Black retreats to his only square, and we push again to chase him around. And we chase him around as long as it helps us get our pieces out. The knight is out of squares, so Black chooses to defend the knight with the pawn. We simply castle, and boom, we have nearly finished developing while Black has only moved a couple of pieces. A King's Gambit player's dream. nf6 on move 2 is fine for Black, but he needs to know where to put his knight to not keep getting chased around. Back to after we played d4, Black should have retreated to e6. This doesn't stop us from chasing the knight, because we can play d5 and b4, 6. But eventually, Black is able to find a home for his knight. And while the computer gives this line a near equal evaluation, white wins 67% of games, and it is simply difficult to play. Knight to f6 on move 2 is not a move to fear. Let's look at one more strange opening. In true 300 elo fashion, black gets his queen out as quickly as possible. This adds pressure to f4, but we were gambiting this pawn away anyways. We can just continue with our normal plan. Black takes with the queen, trying to infiltrate as quickly as possible. It's important to identify that the queen is threatening e4 and we must defend. Luckily, that is super simple and helps us get a piece out. Now, black's most common move, attempting some sort of scholar's-made idea, is bishop to c5, which immediately loses the game after d4. The pawn attacks the bishop, and our bishop attacks the queen, and we will win a piece. Better for black is the next most common move, bishop to b4, trying to remove our knight from the defense of the e4 pawn. And to make things simple, let's play d3 to support the e-pawn and attack the queen, forcing the queen to retreat. And we can just develop normally. Unless requested otherwise, this is all we are going to cover in this course as far as variations go. There are obviously countless variations we could talk about, but at some point, you just need to go out and start playing games and analyzing the lines you find there. We may continue by analyzing master games. If you made it this far in the course, congratulations. I want to thank you for watching and supporting Train Chess. Stay tuned for my thank you gift in the next video, and don't forget to check out our website, trainchess.net. Thank you.